So just to start off then, could you tell us your name, your year, and the course that you're studying, please?
Hi, my name is Nur Zafira. It's me again. I'm currently a Master International Business Management student, and I'm going to be submission my dissertation on this Friday, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And my name is Irish. I am not Irish. And I am doing my master's in law, and I am Nigerian.
Yeah. And we've also got someone with us as well from the Wellbeing team. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Bronte Bates and I work in the Wellbeing team. I'm a project officer on Shine a Light. Shine a Light's all about increasing inclusion, diversity, and that's mostly for Black, Asian and ethnic minority background students. And I was a student at this university until July. Just graduated too, so.
Congratulations.
Thanks, and I know how you feel with your dissertation, so you'll get there.
Brilliant. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about kind of mental health, which is obviously a big subject, especially these days. I think it's 1 in 4 people in the UK have experienced some kind of issues with the mental health. So just in a very kind of sweet term, how has your mental health been since joining university, the pair of you?
I'm a person who's, I don't think so. I don't have a problem, but to make myself especially when I was in the university, I don't have that much pressure or something that is like triggering me or something. But when it comes to dissertation submission or assignment submission, then there's where the anxiety come. There's when all the things just come up from out of sudden, So that moment, I'll just I'll just stay away for a while, like maybe 2 or 3 days. Usually 3 days, I will have a break from the computer, not doing the dissertation, but because I don't want it to occupy so much on me. And I don't want to have a bad thoughts, and the anxiety will keep, triggering me and stuff. So I just lean back for a while. And after that, I'm continue. But that is the only time that when I got a problem with my, my issues or something else. But rather than that, I'm fine. That's it.
So a lot of it's kind of stress and anxiety, obviously related to university and you related to your course as well.
Yes, because now I'm doing dissertation. It's 15,000 words. Just imagine that. What you want to write?
Man said 15,000 words.
I'm just I keep asking my program leader, are you sure it's 15,000 or 12,000? Because if you can decrease it, it will be better for other students too. But it's fixed. It's 15,000. You cannot change. Sometimes you just don't know what else you want to write about, from one thing to another thing, So just imagine with that. And, when it comes into dissertation and you have interviews with a company and stuff, you must write something very professional and good for the reader to read. Yeah. If you make any mistake, it will be a problem for you. So that's where all this kind of anxiety comes and stuff. When dissertation comes, I guess previously when I was doing my degree, not like this. This is the first time I do assignment for 15,000 words, and I will never forget for the rest of my life. Yes.
Thank you. And Arif, what about yourself then? How has your mental health been since joining the university?
I don't stress a lot, mostly because I finally figured out how to not stress myself, which is basically don't be angry at anybody. I get anger stress, and once I'm stressed, I just shut down and I don't know what to do anymore. And I like to avoid that. So I just tend to keep myself busy to make myself, sane and okay, and not panicky and not anxious. And I think just being around my flatmates. I think actually in my second year, after my sister moved out, she moved to London. I think the 2 weeks before I moved back to Clanny House were terrible. Honestly, I cannot stay by myself. I felt so lonely and I was very unhappy. I just didn't like that 2-week pause. Thank goodness I didn't have any assignments. I probably wouldn't have gotten any of them done. But I think I have learned how to manage myself, and I would say I feel quite I don't want to say fairly because myself I'm not very sure. I'll say quite confident about my mental health currently. I don't know about the future, but right now I would say I'm quite confident.
You mentioned there as well about being coping as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular kind of coping methods yourself that you used to deal with stress or?
Well, I don't know. I used to go on my phone a lot when I was stressed, and I would be on my phone. I watch a lot of anime, so that was my anime period. I used to binge watch it all the time, and I used to I used to go to sleep, honestly. Watch anime and I sleep, and I wake up and I feel a lot better. And I think that was my period of, okay, bro, you need to stop, pause, and think. Yeah.
Okay. So again, from what I've gathered from both of you, it's more stress-related kind of things, a lot to do with your work. You mentioned yourself a little bit you felt a little bit almost like lonely when you're kind of when you're not around your family members, which again, it happens. It happens. A lot of students, when they first move up, I had it when I was back in university, you move up for the first time, and once the initial buzz of being in kind of freshers and things that wears off, and all of a sudden you're like thrown into this brand new environment. It's like, oh, this is a bit different. This feels all a bit strange. So it's completely normal. And again, it affects everyone in completely different ways. How did you you guys especially, how did you kind of cope with it when you initially moved over to Sunderland? Did you have any issues at that time at all? Or?
For me, like basically when I moved here, because I'm the only child, so being the only child, my parents will always be with me. So in the first year I came here, my parents was coming with me together. So they are the one who helps me to move and all this stuff. So and then at the end of the day, they have to leave me. Yeah. So and back in Malaysia and UK, it's 15 hours journey, 2 days to arrive Malaysia. So basically, it's kind of a bit hard for me at the moment because I never be far away from my parents in my life. Even though we went to holiday, we are together. So this is the first time in my life that I have to stay alone. And I'm not even staying in Clenny. You know, I'm not even staying in accommodation that you have a flat mat or something like that. No, I'm all alone. I was renting my own house in the Chester Road and all alone. Like I was like, I have to, you know, there's no choice. Sometimes in your life, you already make that decision. You have to, even though you said that you cannot, you will do it and you can do it because you're already in that moment. So time to time, I meet a different friends and I see a lot of Malaysians with me. Oh, fine. Even if my parents are not here, I'm fine because I have my bubbles here. Yeah. So at the end, it's just about time. You know, it's just about time and how you cope about the situation. Yeah. So when you already in that situation, now you started to miss home. You know, you want to go back to your country. Yeah. So, and also, thank God that my parents are always coming here, like 6 months here and go back. So I don't really feel, you know, that hard, you know, to cope about my mental health or something like that. Yeah.
What about yourself, Irish?
Well, I went to boarding school for 6 years. So moving, I've not always been like with my family. I mean, I have always been with people, but I haven't always been with my family. So moving to a new country, I wouldn't say was a massive difference because it was like going back to boarding school. Yes. The other thing is that we didn't have visiting days where they brought like provisions and like gave us like pocket money for like the rest of the week. And it was, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, especially, I mean, like I was so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have loads of friends from different places, But once you get here and you realize, I am here. Like, what is going on? It's like that pause, and you're like thinking, oh my gosh. Especially like I came into university late, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I feel quite alone. I haven't got many friends, and at some point you would be like, I want to go home. I don't know anyone here. I had loads of friends back at home, and you would think about that for a moment. But then once you finally go, well, if you go back home, like, what's going to happen? Like, I mean, like, this is it. You need to carry on. I mean, this is for your future. You might start thinking, oh, I need to calm down. I need to focus on, like, what I'm here to do. And I think, like, that... and I had my older sister here. So it was even, like, easier for me because I know I had family here. So it was easier for me to, like, blend in and, like, just, like, stabilize myself.
And Bronte, as well, you mentioned yourself you were a student. Mm-hmm. How was your mental health during the entire duration of, obviously from freshers all the way to the end, in a general summary?
I mean, it was a bit different for me. I came back to university when I was 27, so I was a mature student. But I have got experience of living abroad, so I totally understand what it's like to go to a different country. Your family's really far away. You feel isolated. You think, is it worth it? Should I go home? So I've got experience of that. And I think even coming as a mature student and a home student, my mental health was always changing because we had COVID, we had the cyber attack. I was pregnant while I was at uni. I gave birth. I had a bit of postnatal, I wouldn't say depression, but certainly after you have a baby, it's no easy feat. And I was doing my dissertation, so some of my hair fell out, which was fine. But I'd say for me, mental health, it's always something that, you know, you've got good mental health, but then you've got days where you might feel a little bit low, or you might feel your mood's always changing, and so is your mental health. And it's really good to have great support and coping mechanisms in place, and the university is there in the support services to make sure that if your mental health one day, you know, you feel great, and then the next day you're isolated, you miss your family, you've got 15,000 words to write. That's what they're there for. So for me, I did rely and use wellbeing services, and also the SU like reached out to them, and that really helped, knowing that there was somebody I could speak to or get in touch with, or that made a huge difference to my mental health.
Because it sometimes can feel quite daunting for the first time ringing up those services. I've done it in the past in previous workplaces, where you feel under pressure, you feel kind of like in a bad place, and like they're like, oh, we have these support services you can ring. And the first time, it sounds terrible, but for the first time, it does make you feel like, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to bother them, but you need to get that out of your head because they're there to help.
Even though, like you said, 1 in 4 people have, you know, something to do with their mental health. I think the problem is that people feel there is still a stigma attached to mental health and accessing services to support it. But if we normalise the language around mental health, we normalised anxiety, we'd realise that everybody has these emotions, and those support services are there for you. And, you know, you're not going to apply for a job later in life and they're going to pull out some record and go, oh, I can see you rang the wellbeing, you know, 4 years ago, no way are we giving you a job. That's not what it's there for. It's to make sure that your student journey and also your mental health is in the right place and you feel supported. So
yeah, definitely, like you mentioned, like some days you're feeling like the best, or some days you don't feel very right. I think I remember like when I had moved back to Clanny House, I think, was it during COVID? I cannot remember what year that was, but I remember one of the nights I just felt really, really down, and that was when if they had it then, I didn't know about it. Like you could ring in and like speak to someone
about out of hours
service. And then I sat on my phone on my bed like crying, and I was like, I felt terrible. I felt so down, and I didn't know what to do. And then like I just went to sleep.
So I've got quite kind of similar experience from when I was at university at Clanny House as well. Coincidentally, I would put myself under stress when I was back at university, and I didn't realise it. And I had a really bad kind of spell with insomnia for a long time. Yeah. So I would, in first year, I remember I would there would be always times where my friends would, if I turned to a 9 o'clock lecture, my friends would be there, and I'd be there with my hood up in my joggers, with like clutching a cup of coffee for dear life, and just looking like hell.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, my pals will go, oh, Carl's had another insomnia night. And I'd honestly be lying there wide awake until 4 or 5 in the morning. And to be fair, it was back when I was a fresher, it was kind of 2013. So social media wasn't a big thing then. Yeah. Instagram wasn't as big. There was no TikTok. So I was just lying there just in my own head for hours. And I just kind of thought, it's just part of the course. It's just, this is university. But I'm looking back at it now, I'm thinking, I should have maybe spoke to somebody about that.
Yeah, and that's why we've brought in the out of hours service, which is now, you know, from 6:30 at night till 6:30 in the morning. So those students who feel like they need to reach out to someone can call, but they're also at Clanny House as well. So I think, especially for me as well, you know, the insomnia that comes with your anxiety or stress, it's that point, isn't it, where you do feel alone because even you're just in your own head. So we've introduced that to help students and also to direct students to as well.
So how does someone access a service like
that? So the out of hours, if you go onto the wellbeing website through the uni, there's a contact telephone number so you can call someone. If you didn't feel like you wanted to ring someone and speak to someone, we've also got Silver Cloud or Together All as well, which are available online, and they're kind of self-help access guides that you can go for. There's also a self-referral form as well, so if you filled that in, we would then contact you, because, you know, contacting someone, that's also a massive step, and we understand that. So if you don't feel comfortable coming in or talking to us over the phone, there's online option and chat options as well. So we try and make sure anybody can access the service.
because you mentioned there as well, contacting someone can sometimes feel like a task in itself. Like as I say, for the first time when you call up a support service, you feel like, oh, like I mentioned before, you don't want to bother them. They're busy. Like, my problem's not as big as somebody else, because that's all part of it. That's what your brain's tricking you into thinking. And it sometimes can be a good step, but a very important one to just get over that initial thought of, no, these people are here to help me. They're not here to kind of judge me down the phone. There's absolutely nothing.
There's none of that. Like, we are just here to support you 100%. That's all that we're there for, and that's why we're there, you know?
Yeah. So either of you two, have you kind of used any of these services in the past? Is that completely all right if you haven't at all? Or?
For me, I never, because like me, I'm a person who's like, when it comes to my mood, I always believe that you are the only one who can change yourself. Okay. And even though you need a support from a people, at the end, they can give you a support, you listen to them, but you at the end will change how your mindset will be. So maybe because of that, I didn't use the support, because when I was in my degree time, I get back to my country and I don't have that much, mental health thing, except now because of dissertation, and that's it.
It's back.
I'm done.
It's back. Yourself?
Like I mentioned, I did. If it was here, then I probably would have rang someone. But I haven't used any of the wellbeing services.
Have you used one in the past as well yourself?
Yeah, I have. So while I was at university, I actually got in touch and became a wellbeing champion myself. So I think supporting others was something that was really important for me, because I felt like I was a bit older than some students. I wanted to be able to provide support, but I also wanted to know the correct ways to signpost as well. So I'd spoken to the wellbeing services a few times, not that much, to be honest, but I always was aware that they were there. And I think sometimes it's just knowing that the support's in place that can make a huge difference as well, because if you feel totally isolated, totally alone, you're away from your family, you maybe not signed up to a GP either, which I know a lot of our students who move up here or international students don't do. It's like, where do I access help? Where do I go? So I think knowing the support's available, that's really good as well.
Knowing that the support is there, I think it's because I missed Freshers Fair, I missed everything. I didn't know any of the supports, the student support services available at the university. And I think the cultural differences also, international students would not know about these things, or the cultural barriers that are there about mental health in general would just limit or stop an international student from seeking help, because they don't know about this thing. They don't completely understand.
Exactly. Like back in my country, this mental health is not something you can issue it. If you issue it, that's something wrong with you. So maybe probably Malaysian student, if they have that, they just ignore it. It's just when we in this country, we started to know about this, and which is really good,
And just as we start to wrap up then, obviously we've had the new batch of first years coming in. Just briefly, would you be able to tell us, give them just some small advice for them who may be experiencing issues with mental health for the first time? These people may only be noticing it for the first time. Do you have any quick words of advice at all?
I would say definitely use the services that are out there available for us, because I'm a student. So definitely use all the services. No one is judging you for anything. They are there to help and to make sure that you enjoy your stay at university. And these different services, they would go a long way. Any help that you get at all from the wellbeing team, or from the students' union, or from your colleague, or from going to see your GP, any type of help at all would go a long way. And it's just to make yourself aware that the services are there. So if you do need it at some point, you would know where to go, and it would make a massive difference.
Yeah, my advice to students is you should feel like you should be able to use student support services as easy as going to the library. Just like taking a book out, it's exactly the same as contacting us in student support services. We're there for you from coming and starting your degree until the point where you finish your degree, and then we can even signpost you to after. So even if you just need us for 2 minutes, we'll be there for you, but we'll also support you throughout your entire journey, no matter if the query is small or if you need a lot of support. That's what we're there for.
Okay, for me, for the new student who like have that kind of, have a mental health thing, the first thing, like if you already figured out that you have that, then don't wait, because if you wait for longer, this is gonna be more worse. So, and here we already have a good support, and like from A to Z, somebody can enter, like can be with you there. So just go for it, and try to speak, because when you speak to somebody who is having a mental health problem, even though me, I give advice to a person when they have a mental health problem, it's not the same like when they get to speak to psychologists, or it's totally different. So yeah, just use the support and all will be good. And when you've triggered or you already feel that you have that, just directly call the support. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That's been brilliant. Thanks very much for your help.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.